The following program contains coarse language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Now, this is a story that not only have I talked about, but I had posted it on the channel previously. So I'm going to give you guys an update to let you know what the actual sentencing was here, but keep this super, super short. But these people, you just wonder, like, what level of dumb could these people be? And then you just realize, like, you know what? I guess they could be as dumb as the day is long. But let me give you a disclaimer that if you're offended by my language, this is not intended for young audiences. This is intended for mature audiences. So Mommy of Three, take it away. Give you the main disclaimer. Let's go.
Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, new website articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer.
So I'm getting this story from kltv.com. So thank you for the article. Again, this is a final update on a daycare worker who did not want to do her job. And guess what? You appreciate that. Shout out to you, LA. I appreciate that. If you don't want to deal with kids, you don't like your job, you don't like life, you don't like kids, like, why do you take jobs with kids except being a babysitter, and then you turn around and abuse kids? I just don't understand that level of stupidity at all. It's unforgivable. And yeah, I think that there's a special place in hell for people like this. Tyler, Texas, a former Lindale daycare employee pleaded to 10 years Wednesday after she was found guilty of repeatedly assaulting toddlers in her care. And let me tell y'all, just so y'all know, I don't know if it's going to say it here. Now, it gives the wrong number. She, from what they claim, kicked children to the tune of 134 times. That is a special level of fucking stupid. 134 times kicking kids. And I know why that she's doing time in prison. You know, I'm not going to advocate for vigilante justice, but I wouldn't be too mad if I found out that she got kicked 134 times in prison, because that sounds like some bully stuff. She's a bully. Judge Heaton found Catherine Elizabeth Gazika guilty of 6 counts of injury to a child after she was accused of kicking 6 children over 134 times while working at Pumpkin Doodles Daycare. Over 100 of those actions were caught on security footage, according to an arrest document. As part of a plea deal, Gazika was given 10 years in prison for each charge, with a sentence to run concurrently. So that means they run at the exact same time. Kid kicking Catherine. That's pretty good. So we're going to call her Kid Kicking Catherine. I like that. I appreciate that, Dot. Appreciate it. She will also get credit for about a year of time already served. The defense argued a psychological evaluation revealed Gazika had an IQ of 86 and is low functioning, according to court testimony, but they gave her a goddamn job. So I don't care if she was functioning or not. They gave her a job. She failed the job. She abused kids. She could do prison time. Let her finish failing and being a life failure in prison. So I don't like the fact that they try to give her an excuse. She was slower than a bottle of molasses. She was slower than a turtle in a rat race. Like, I don't care how slow she was. I don't care how many tacos she was short of a combination plate. I don't really care if she was one of the darker colors in the crayon box, knowing that she wasn't that bright. I don't care if the elevator doesn't go all the way to the top. Whatever other disparaging things I can say about her, I don't really care. It just needs to be punished.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
Y'all do me a favor. That's what we're going to call it. Y'all do me a favor, hit the thumbs up and share this video, post it in your true favorite crime groups so we can start to get our main audience back over here so we can make these videos go viral again. Kid kicking Catherine. Y'all make sure to excoriate this woman in the comments section, all right? Let's get it.
Daycare worker was sentenced to 10 years in prison.
And guess she needs to be in general population. You damn right. Let's get it.
Lindell daycare worker was sentenced to 10 years in prison today for kicking and pushing children she was being paid to care for. 45-year-old Catherine Guzeka was sentenced today as part of a plea deal. As KLTV7's Alex Weister reports, many of her crimes were caught on camera.
I'll assess her sentence in each one at 10 years confinement.
That was the sentence handed down by Judge Taylor Heaton to Catherine Guzeka for injury to a child, the abuse of multiple children over a span of months while she worked at a daycare in Lindale, a sentence the Smith County DA's office says didn't sit well with them and the families of the victim.
They were okay with it as much as they could be because they too were frustrated it couldn't be more. So knowing what the range of the punishment was, they were okay with it and they understood.
Guzeka was arrested in October of last year after a coworker reviewed video footage of her shifts and saw the incident. Police say they found over 130 times she assaulted toddlers in her care.
Instances where they would just be sitting still and quiet and it would happen. This wasn't an instance of just a lot going on and, just lost it at the moment. This was an ongoing thing for no reason.
The defense's argument centered around Guzeka's IQ, which they say makes her lower functioning than over 80% of the U.S. population. Smith County Assistant District Attorney Richard Vance says that the district attorney's office spent a lot of time trying to find a way to enhance the charges, allowing them to ask for more than the 10-year max prison sentence for a third-degree felony.
And this is unique, but still you would think if it happened in any kind of setting where people trust their children with other people, there should be some sort of enhancement to make it a higher charge, but there's not.
Vance says in speaking with the families, they say children are physically okay, but Vance still has some concern.
It does appear that the children, at least, physically are doing just fine. And this is one of those things that's frustrating is you don't know even if they're doing fine mentally now. It could be years from now and something trigger them.
Alex Weister, KLTV7 News.
Now Guzeka will receive credit for time already served. That comes out to just over a year in jail.
All right, thank you so much. Well, a developing story that we're following. A former East Texas daycare worker accused of killing and pushing little kids pleads guilty to injury to a child with the intent to cause bodily injury.
Thank you for calling that out in the chat. Why did they hire her? So y'all would have there had to been something to indicate that was what her IQ level was. I don't know if she either had a diploma or a degree or GED, or there had to have been something. If they knew that, then great question. Why did they hire her? Again, so if you hired her, no excuses. You wanted to treat her equally, then let her suffer the consequences.
45-year-old Catherine Guzeka is still awaiting her sentencing on the 6 charges that she pled guilty to this morning. Now, staff at the daycare say they saw her kicking children under 2 years old in their lower back on numerous occasions from July to October 2024 at the Pumpkin Doodles Daycare in Lindale. She was arrested that year and will continue to follow this story and bring you her sentencing when it happened.
We have been following this disturbing daycare case for months now. This is a shocking situation out of Texas where this daycare worker, Catherine Guzeka, was caught on security cameras repeatedly attacking toddlers in her care. And we are talking more than 100 separate horrifying incidents of abuse. Kicking kids in the back, including under 2 years old, standing on their hands, yanking them around while they slept, all happening quietly in a room full of children. But now we have a major new development, okay? A judge has officially handed down Guzeka's sentence, and she is going away for a long time. We're going to get into what happened, because what has changed since we last covered this is a lot, and what this new twist, what this new update means moving forward. Now, this all starts at a small daycare in Lindale, Texas. It's called the Pumpkin Doodles Daycare. 45-year-old Catherine Guzeka had been working there since September of 2023. This is according to the owner at the time. She passed the background check, she had the training, she looked like the kind of employee that you would trust with toddlers. And for months, nobody had any idea what was happening inside that room. But then you go to October of 2024, and this is where everything blows open. Why? According to the arrest affidavit that was reviewed by local media, a coworker just happened to be reviewing the daycare surveillance footage when she saw something so shocking, she rewound the clip to make sure she saw what she thought she was seeing. A 2-year-old boy sitting calmly on the floor and the defendant walking up behind him and kicking him hard, right in the small of his back. So the coworker alerts the boy's father, who immediately goes straight to the Smith County Sheriff's Office to file a report. This is October 23rd, 2024. And from there, deputies, they head to the daycare, they start reviewing the footage themselves, and that is when they realize that this wasn't an isolated incident, not even close. Smith County Sheriff Larry Smith later explained just how bad it was in an interview with local affiliate KLTV, telling the outlet, quote, "There was over 100 instances of what was observed to be abuse. More than 100. And it wasn't chaos. It wasn't kids running around. It wasn't a stressful moment. Not that that would justify it in any way. But just to make it even worse, according to prosecutors, these toddlers were just sitting, quiet, existing. And Guzieska walked over and hurt them. Authorities said the pattern was disturbingly consistent. She would walk up behind these toddlers, 2, 3, 4 years old, and kick them in the back with her right foot, again and again. Investigators also said she stood on the kids' hands, dragged sleeping toddlers out of their naps by one arm, aggressively repositioned them, forced their faces toward the wall during diaper changes, and all of this was apparently captured on video. Now, the daycare owner at the time, Melanie Dawn Law, told KLTV that she reviewed the footage herself. She confirmed to deputies that she had seen abuse going all the way back to July of 2024, months of it, more than 100 incidents. So she fires Guzieska immediately, turns over every second of relevant footage to law enforcement, and by the time deputies were done reviewing just the initial batch of surveillance footage, they had enough to move quickly. They charged Guzieska with 6 counts of injury to a child. On October 30th, 2024, an arrest warrant was signed. Guzieska was booked into the Smith County Jail on a $450,000 bond, and this is where she remained, according to local affiliate CBS 19. And that's where the case stood. Dozens upon dozens of documented incidents, 6 formal charges, and a mountain of video evidence that investigators were still sorting through. And that is the point where things eventually moved into the courtroom.
Like, I don't really give a damn. Like, that ain't what I want to say. I want to cuss, but I'm going to try my best not to, because I want to try to maybe eventually get my monetization back on this channel. But it don't matter whether she's got an IQ of 0. If you're a bully and you got the presence of mind of kicking kids, you know what that means. You know what that insinuates. You know that you're trying to inflict pain and damage, and you're trying to make kids cry. You're trying to hurt them. You know what that's about, and you ain't got to have an IQ at all to know that that's just a level of stupidity that cannot be made an excuse for. So, like I said, give her as much time in prison as possible. She doesn't need any leniency just because she might not be that bright. All right? But keep those kids in your prayers, from my heart to yours. Love you guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning into the AFC podcast. Make these stories go viral, please. We need it. Let's go.